Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Counterpoise podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Samantha Adams. I am joined here with my other two co-hosts. You guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hey, everybody. My name is Malik Foster.
Okay.
For the Counterpoise podcast.
All right. And I'm Everett Stevenson, one of your other co-hosts for the Counterpoise podcast. This week in particular, we wanted to go ahead and kick it off with the recent comments that was made by none other than the infamous Eboni K Williams is back into the limelight, you guys, with the statement that she's made in regards to single motherhood by choice, I think is the term that she used. And particularly she was speaking on how women in general are having more of the decision of deciding to opt out of having a traditional, the traditional right, and looking to receive sperm donors around the nation, particularly within the Black community, Black women looking for Black sperm donors. And I'll let her give you guys, or I will play the clip of her comments, and then we'll go into that a little later, or into detail of our thoughts after that.
Yeah, so I'm about to share this clip just to give you guys a little background on the video. Eboni K Williams is talking about single motherhood by choice, like my co-host alluded to. She's basically discussing Black women's dating options in terms of, if they don't want to engage in the current dating market, right? Because she's basically saying in the beginning of the video, what you won't hear in this clip is that, these partners aren't serving certain groups of Black women. So they have other options in terms of achieving motherhood without a partner or a husband, spouse, or whatever. And as she would say, bad marriages and partnerships that don't serve them. So let me share my screen and show you guys the upcoming clip. See, make sure my sound.
And so for those who may not know, Eboni K was an attorney.
Can you hear this?
Yes.
Liar. So I've got two concrete tips for single Black women who think this may be an option, either now or maybe later. Number one, please check out Reproductive Village. It's a new Black-owned cryobank, and it's designed to help with this shortage of Black sperm. It's set to open its doors in D.C. later this year, and it will also have drop-off locations in Atlanta and Houston, Texas. And number two, be proactive. I say go ahead and start looking right now for desirable Black sperm. Register with all four of the big cryobanks, and this includes California Cryobank, which I used, Seattle Sperm Bank, Fairfax Cryobank, and Zytex. Then you can scan the current options for Black sperm. And if you see some sperm that you like, I suggest go ahead and buying at least 2 vials right now. Even if you do not intend to use them anytime soon, trust me, it's better to have them than to be without them when the time comes. And listen, if you never need them for whatever reason, what a wonderful gift to give to a friend or a sorority sister in need. And also, most of those banks, they allow you to resell the sperm back to the bank itself. Listen, I know that many are going to question or even indict the decision that I and many other Black women are making to become single mothers by choice. But I, like the women you heard from today, go by the creed of no regrets. I have.
Okay, stop. Pause. Please.
Much love.
Right. That's
Please. I'm about to have, my head is about to explode.
Telling y'all, hey, get it how you can, scrape it up, save it up.
Oh my God.
Okay. Do a refund return policy on it. It's going better than the market value. It's holding its weight.
We're not talking about a bag or a pair of shoes or a pair of jeans. We're talking about sperm. She's talking about, if you don't like it, just go get a refund. What are you okay, all right, let's back up.
No, we're talking about
My first statement is very Kanye. And y'all know I don't really be on the Kanye bandwagon, but I don't think Eboni K Michelle likes Black people. And the reason why I say that is because she continues to push a narrative that does not uplift, unify, or help Black people. Okay, let's start there. In part, she talks about Black women. There's a whole part of the clip that we didn't just hear. And that's the whole part about, there being a deficient amount of Black sperm. That is based on the pool of Black men that are available, based on her theory, right? The problem is that the reason why I say she doesn't like Black people is because I truly believe that she believes that all Black men are bad. I believe that wholeheartedly. I think she thinks all Black men suck. I think she believes all Black men are trash. All of the bad things that women bashers say about Black men, I think she believes those things. The reason why I think that is because, remember, we did a podcast not long ago. We've done a podcast about Black sperm donation. We also did a podcast about the incarceration rate of Black men. We've also done a podcast about making better choices, right? She talks about single motherhood being a choice, right? And the problem I have with that statement is that single motherhood is always a choice. Motherhood is a choice. And I think that it's irresponsible for her as an attorney to make statements like that, especially as a Black woman, because people look to you as a public figure, as somebody that is only part of 3% of the population. As a matter of fact, it's less because you are a woman. And at the end of the day, people look to you for your opinion. They look to hear what you have to say. They hold credence to it. And the problem is pushing the narrative that Black men are not worthy of being fathers, because that's essentially what she says by saying, go out to the sperm bank and go get you some sperm, instead of trying to find a father for your children, making better choices. So as opposed to finding a way to make better choices in men, you say, forget men, I got the money, so I'm gonna just go get some sperm. What happens if you have a son? What happens if you have a son? What narrative are you going to teach your son? Are you going to you think that you're going to teach your son to be better than somebody else that you already think is trash? Like, you're not that great. You're not that much of an exception to the rule where you think if you have this attitude that no Black man is worth it, that you need to go ahead and get sperm, you just use their sperm like they're completely useless. And then if you have a son, you think that you can do better in raising your child. When the truth of the matter is, it takes a community to uplift and raise Black children. And you can't possibly think that you're going to have a strong, positive community when you're constantly trying to find ways to tear the Black man down. The last time we talked about her, she was talking about how she wouldn't date a bus driver because it was beneath her. So, I think that what's her name? Eboni K Williams. I think she needs therapy, because I really think that she needs therapy, and she needs to do some serious shadow work and soul searching, because the way that she talks about Black men makes me feel as though, makes me believe that there's something else going on there as it relates to her opinion about Black men. I think that there's something going on. Maybe she was abandoned. If she wasn't abandoned by her dad, maybe she was burnt by a Black man. But the thing at the end of the day is all Black men are not the same. And when people continue to push that narrative, they really have to stop, because what it does is it ostracizes Black men, and Black men already have enough to deal with. So that's what I have to say about that for now. So go ahead. I couldn't listen to another word because it was.
No, I hear what you're saying in regards to that. And I think, like, when we talking about this whole little Eboni K situation, it's definitely challenging. Like, I do I think that she really don't care. Like, at first when you said the statement, like, oh, I just think that she hates all black men, in all honesty, I really don't think that she hates black men, like want to hate black men, I should say. I just think it's more of a situation where, you know what I'm saying, because her experiences have led her to whatever, experiences that she's had. She may not have, had a enjoyable experience with black men. And so now I think she kind of has scorned view of all. And that's, as we all know, you know what I'm saying? Some people don't represent all people. So when we look at that, and then we look at how she's going about this approach, the callous nature of it, if you will, in the sense of thinking that, like, oh, I have the luxury of being affluent enough to, you know what I'm saying, pick and choose, the sperm I want, the time I want to be pregnant, you know what I'm saying, all of those things. Now, of course, to a degree, there is a level of, like, you can take certain actions at certain times in your life to, allow yourself to have the benefits of, childhood and becoming a parenthood, pardon me. So, her maybe saving herself until she got to a point in life where she felt like she was ready to do that. That's that. So, yeah, people have always had the choice of being able to have a child whenever they chose to do it. I think this nowadays, when we look at it for how it's being done, in the sense of like, oh, I'm gonna plan my stuff, I might freeze my eggs, I might do this and that, as opposed to just letting it be, you know what I'm saying, within the natural form of how things have traditionally have done in a way, you know what I'm saying, is another thing where it kind of just shows like there's just a shift in the thought process of how things get done versus like how she'll do it. Like, so it's like the convenience of being able to have everything right then and there ready for you. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to taking the time to develop a nurturing relationship with somebody, going through whatever lessons that y'all might need to go through, and experiences that y'all might need to face in order for y'all to have a bond that's worth, sharing and bringing in something else into this earth to share that with them as well and to train them. Like, all of that is usurped when you go this route that, you know what I'm saying, that she's kind of discussing. And I think that it also kind of feeds into this narrative of I can have it all. I can do everything that I want and have it all. And no one's saying that you can't have everything, but I think anyone who knows anything understands that having everything means the most when you have people to share it with. You know what I'm saying? If you just the one person to have everything, like, of course, I always reference this, but like J. Cole said, what fun is being on first class when if my niggas can't sit? It doesn't have the same allure as it does when you can share it with someone. And of course, being able to share it with, say, a parent a child is great. But I think that child being able to be in a home with two parents that love them, two people who love each other, two people who love themselves first, then each other, and also that child would be the best benefits for any child being born in this earth.
So one thing before Malik says something,
to say something.
hold on, just one thing I just want to clarify real quick. Freezing your eggs, even though that's typically non-traditional, if somebody chooses to have a baby later on in life and they freeze their eggs, I just want to make it clear that there's no sperm involved in that. It's literally just putting the eggs aside until you're ready, as opposed to just having a baby at that given time, because, women's bodies are on a clock. So I just wanted to go ahead and clarify that one thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to make 2 quick points very, very quickly. That Eboni K Williams, her single motherhood choice is very flawed reasoning, because number one, it's not really realistic. It's unrealistic for average women. Like she pointed out, she's an outlier, right? I don't know if I got to the clip where she said that, part of the clip where she said it, but she said in the video that, she's an outlier. So here are these 2 tips, right? Then she proceeded to give the tips. Yeah, she is an outlier because most women, including Black women, especially Black women, won't be able to afford this situation, buying the Black sperm, because also, besides the financial aspect, there is a shortage, right? That's point number 2. There's a shortage of Black sperm. And because Black men want to remove some of that stigma around, deadbeat dads, all of that stuff, that they're no good as fathers and all of that bad reputation, right? They want to kind of debunk a lot of that stuff. So why would Black men donate sperm and be part of the statistic of absentee fathers and stuff like that? So that's another reason why. So also, they haven't been marketed to donate sperm as much as we alluded to in the other episode about the Black sperm, when we go over like some of the 4 chiral banks and stuff like that Eboni K Williams mentioned in the Single Motherhood by Choice. So I just wanted to point out those 2 things that I believe that are really flawed in her reasoning, because everyday Black women aren't going to be able to have this option, because single motherhood by choice, motherhood has always been a choice, unless it's a crime. And even then, in some cases, people still had a choice whether to keep the baby or not. But we're not going to get into that aspect. But generally speaking, single motherhood is always a choice. So I think where she's getting at is the fact that, women do have other options if they want children. They don't have to be in marriages. They can be single, but that's always been the case. So to the way she swings it is like, oh, these men are not good for you, even though she's had bad experiences in relationships herself. So I feel like her opinions and thoughts are very biased towards the men, whether they're Black or white. But now she's trying to speak on behalf of Black women because she is a Black woman. So that's what she's trying to do here. But her dating history, she hasn't been successful. So this is the route she had to go. So unless y'all had any other comments on her clip, I was going to play the second clip. It's a reaction.
I wanted to say, I just wanted to say a little bit with regards to her attitude about choosing to be a single mother. One thing I think that it's important that we emphasize is that, first and foremost, Black men, they've done the statistics. Children that grow up in households with Black fathers, even if it's a single father raising his child, typically is more successful. Generally is more successful. Another thing is that children that grow up in 2-parent households are even more successful. And to choose to deny a child of its father is detrimental to that child. And saying, hey, I want to have a baby with no father, you're very deliberate in that choice. In my opinion, this is a little selfish, right? Because you want to have a baby and you want to raise that kid and pour into that kid and all that. And that's all beautiful. But the thing about it is you're doing the child a disservice. A lot of times when we talk about this stuff, the child is the one that gets lost in the whole conversation. And at the end of the day, that baby, that child, that's the one who loses. They don't have the benefit of having a 2-parent household. They don't have the benefit of having a father around. And it's not necessarily because that meant, granted, there are situations and circumstances where, things happen. Maybe the father passes away early. Maybe he gets incarcerated. Maybe their relationship doesn't work out. Maybe she's keeping him away from his baby, or maybe he's just staying away from the baby. Those definitely happen, but they don't happen at the magnitude that society wants people to think that it happens in the Black, I'm not going to say community, but amongst Black people, right? It definitely doesn't. And the thing that is so irksome about it is the fact that you're making this choice for this child. Like, you're choosing to have a baby without a daddy. And that's not fair to that child, because children gain to learn so much from their fathers. So I just wanted to make sure that I added that.
Yeah, okay. I'm about to get ready for the second.
So now Malika's getting ready to show another clip. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is a response to what Eboni K Williams had to say.
All right, can y'all see the video?
Yep.
All right.
That's her way of saying Black men are trash, and there are no good Black men to have a baby with. That's what she really meant there. But anyway, your reaction to Ebony's soliloquy.
You know, I've seen a couple of articles that talk about the fact that when it comes to women going to sperm bank, it's very hard to find Black sperm. Well, maybe it's because these Black men that you claim have no morals and no values, these Black men that you claim are up to no good and ain't shit, they don't need to go in and donate their sperm to be able to purchase spinning rims or Big Macs. They have some type of understanding of the value that they don't have to demean themselves to this. And when it comes to Eboni Williams, listen, what you have here, Jason, is a woman who worked for a very prominent attorney here in my city who gained the reputation of being skinny, unappealing, disagreeable, and having chronic halitosis.
Oh, the breath was stinking.
Okay. All right.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
I don't know nothing about her. I don't know about nothing about her breath, but
Yeah.
it is.
I'll let you respond first. I'll let you respond.
Okay.
Hold on, no. She was just going. Let me get up out here real fast. Before we even went to the video one time. Hold on. Because I know you about to do your thing, but I just want to jump in here just to spice it up a little second or two. I think she had an excellent response, of course, the last little things, hearsay type of stuff, but it made for entertainment. Definitely, I think it was just spot on though, like to the point that she was making, you made, I think a lot of men, especially the guys who care about their image, who care about the life that they live, who are trying to, live their life on the righteous and do the type of things that would make them be considered to be the type of men that in their eyes would be the type of men that they would like to show the world that Black men aren't necessarily looking to go to run down to sperm banks to, you know what I'm saying, lead deposits of sperm. They are looking to be in their children's lives. They are looking to, help coach their little T-ball teams and baseball teams and football, whatever the case may be. They are at the parent-teacher conferences. They are, volunteering, going to the daddy-daughter dances, doing the hallway, monitoring, volunteering at the school to come up when they have the time and things of that nature. And they're doing their best to make sure that they will set a positive influence on the kids around them, whether it's theirs or, family members or who else. So, I think she was kind of spot on with that. I also think that, it just speaks more into the whole fact of, us having a division. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have to look at. Like, why is everything so divisive and why are we always at each other's necks? Let's try to do something that's, divisive and work together and unite and try to become better as a whole and as a people. And I think should be our ultimate goal.
So if Eboni K Williams doesn't hate Black people, I don't think she is fond of Black men. I stand firm in that. And because her goal is always to separate, right? Remember the last time, like I said, she was talking about how she would never date a bus driver because, oh, it's not that they're beneath me, but then what's the problem then? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, she doesn't like you just said, E, she does not do anything to unify Black folks. She has a crab in a barrel mentality. And it's frustrating to watch because she's an attorney. So it's like, and the reason why I give credence to the fact that she's an attorney isn't because, we're all attorneys. It's because you have a higher learned understanding about what's going on in society. You're supposed to, right? And a lot of times, like if you talk to other attorneys, everybody out there in the audience, if you talk to other attorneys, they'll tell you like they went to law school with some people that like you wonder how they got this far. And it's not to say that I'm saying that about her because I don't know how smart she is as it relates to her understanding of the law or her ability to argue a case in court or draft a contract or a motion. I don't know what she's like as a lawyer, but as a commentator or reporter or media person, a media personality, it irks me because when she gives her opinions are often given like she is like the spokesperson for Black women. And it bothers me because, hi, I'm a Black woman, I'm an attorney, and I don't agree. Like, I couldn't disagree more with her as it relates to the way that she discourages the unity of Black family. Because it's not always necessarily just about Black men. Like I said, the things that she says may be geared towards Black men, but we don't, and we never really address the cause and effect of the Black woman and the Black child and the unity of the Black family. We also did a podcast on that, so I'm not going to dig too deep into the importance of the unity of the Black family, but I do want to encourage, like, it's important to encourage that, you know, and saying, oh, I'm going to go get some sperm from the reason why. And just like that woman said, what was her name? Shamika Michelle. I agree with her. Like, the reason why there is such a low amount of sperm available is because Black men don't go donate their sperm. Just like Black women don't go donate their eggs. You see what I'm saying? We don't do that. Generally speaking, we don't do that. Doesn't mean that there aren't some people that do it, but generally we don't. Why? Because it was taken from us historically. We're going to go ahead and hold on to what's ours. It's something that we actually now have some semblance of control over, of whether or not I'm going to have a baby, who I'm going to give my sperm to, who I'm going to allow to fertilize my egg. You know what I'm saying? Now, it may not always be a good choice for that person to do it, but it doesn't mean that you don't have the power and the choice and the control. And unless it's some, exception, like somebody gets raped or whatever, then you get to have that choice. You have that choice. That choice is yours. But the goal should always be to raise a family. It's not to just have a kid and the other parent just not be around. No, most parents don't want that for their kid. You know what I mean? And so it really makes me question, why are you so hell-bent on that? And why do you feel as though Black women don't need Black men? And why do people think the Black men don't need Black women? We need each other in order to grow and to unify and become stronger as a people, and I think that it goes missed so often. Like, where are people at in their head where they think that it's not necessary?
Yeah, I was going to say a few things here, like what Michelle was saying, Black image, right? A lot of Black men want to change the Black image, so they don't want to be absentee fathers, like I was saying earlier. And I agree with her on that point. Like, why should they have to regulate themselves and submit themselves to this process where they're just giving you their DNA and not being in their lives of children? Maybe they want to be in their children's lives. Maybe they want to be fathers. They don't have to be subjecting themselves to that situation, because that's a whole type of, that's a kind of a myth, a stereotype that Black men are, absentee fathers, when a lot of them are just without kids. And, Black men get married more than Black women. So they're trying to create that households, whether it's with Black women or not. And most Black men do marry Black women. So, I mean, that debunks that right there as well. And there's nothing wrong with Black men having standards, right? If the standard is, hey, if I'm creating kids, I want to have a family. I don't want to just donate and just forget about it, just for some little bit of money. Yeah, they'll pay you, but not really much anyways. I think that's a good idea as well on the part of Black men to do. Stand firm on their morals, stand firm on their principles. And also another point that she made in the video that, I'm not going to play on this screen for you guys right now. She's making the point, Shamika Michelle, was that it's only Black women that are pretty much marketed and told by other women and the media and propaganda, different things, different outlets that, oh yeah, you don't need Black men, you can do it without your men, you don't need those men, there's other options out there for you. Other women, they'll be like, yeah, girl, yeah, single independent, while they're married and being even submissive possibly to their husband, or at least trying to work with him. And so it's a big contradiction. All these other women are getting married at way higher rates, talking about single single independent women, yeah, they'll talk that to Black women, but meanwhile they're married to
Boo thing.
the politician, the doctor, the lawyer, whatever. They're trying to marry and trying to, secure their future while you're talking about the single independent, I don't need no man stuff, and you're at the sperm bank crying because you can't have, the babies you want to have when there's eligible single Black men ready for you if you're ready for them. So I think it's a situation where, you just got to try to work with some people. Everything's not going to be perfect. And because you're not perfect, right? So you just have to learn how to compromise and negotiate and, accept things as they are, that, everything's not going to be perfect and you need to learn to accept that. So
yeah, I think it's like, oh, my bad. Yeah, I was just going to say, it seems like there's just been a lot less desirability or for discipline, for the understanding of having to work with each other, because I think that's what this issue is. When we look at this situation in general, like you said, there is no shortage of Black men, a shortage of Black sperm here. You know what I'm saying? Now, you choosing to usurp who you choose to deal with could be one of those issues here. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is what we see a lot of people are missing out on is the beauty and the growth that comes from wanting to work through things. We all can testify to times in our lives where we've had to overcome situations that required us to come out of ourselves in order to become more. You know what I'm saying? In order to become greater. And I think that goes no less for when you become a parent, and that goes no less to when you maybe are dating and you're looking to become a wife or a spouse or a husband to someone else. Eventually, you're going to have to come up out of some of the things that was in your own personal comfort zones in order to make the sacrifice for the greater good. And it just doesn't seem like a lot of people are willing to make those changes for the greater good in today's society. And I think that's ultimately what some of this boils down to. When she says the whole single motherhood by choice thing, it is very challenging because, one, it sucks to see women out here, especially Black women out here, fighting this battle where you're on the front lines of being strong, independent. You're on the front lines of running the whole single motherhood line. You're on the front lines for all of these things. And yeah, some people might garner some support or will support it rather. And some of them might garner, a little bit more confidence to do and to take on certain situations because they have seen the way that you guys have handled it. But I ultimately feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all said, most other people aren't going through the issue at the level that we are, and so they're kind of watching you do it, cheering you on, going home and being with somebody to help make their household, going on to being with somebody that they can build a community and a village around, going on to somebody to help with those kids. And so I think when we look at that, that pretty much runs into one of the quotes that I wanted to go into for today, which is by Karl Marx, which said, "Nothing can have value without being an object of utility." And I think that that's important here to think of, because it's like we want to. I feel like there's a lot of devaluing of the Black man himself, but understanding that he has utility within, of course, his semen and his ability to create life. And so I feel like you can't take away the value out of something and disregard it in itself. I think you need to be able to see the value in it in its whole, in its completion, right? Like you can't appreciate a butterfly without, once allowing the caterpillar to be what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like things have to evolve, things have to grow. They have to have the time for it to shape and change. And I think that, ultimately that's what this conversation should be about. It shouldn't be about single motherhood by choice, because you shouldn't choose to have to be out here having to do things all on your own. You shouldn't have to choose to be out here having to grind so hard in order for you to have to make everything on your own. Like that's very tiring, even for a man or a woman. So like no one should have to try to win the race on their own. That's how you lose it all, because you can't go everywhere by yourself. You need a team. You know what I'm saying? There's no successful artist, there's no successful business, there's no successful nothing in this world that's running off of just a one-man only standpoint. So I don't understand how people think that that can be the case for themselves, their relationship, whatever the case may be. I understand it if it's like you're dealing with something that might be abuse or something that's not, beneficial, something that's not necessarily having some type of value, some type of integrity, some type of morale, some type of character. You're dealing with those type of men, then okay, I understand why you feel the way you feel. But if you're dealing with the right type of guys, I think that's you clearly the value of that type of man. So I'm gonna go into after that. I'll just go into our book of the month, which is again The Sixth Man by Andre Iguodala. You guys can check that out. It's a biopic. And last but not least, our business of the month, which is Take Off Luggage, which carries, it's like a weekender type of bag, which allows you to have a bag with wheels that fits into all personal space, personal luggage bags space. So you can travel with it on airlines and not have to pay a baggage fee. So you can check that out with them as well. And once again, we just want to thank you guys all for checking out this show. You guys can always catch us on Wednesdays as well on Instagram. Be looking out. We may be starting to go live on YouTube with that as well. You can catch us, let us know. Our social medias will be posted here momentarily. Hope you guys all like, subscribe, you feel what I'm saying, follow, and reach out to us if you guys have any questions with anything. We're all accessible. So, if you want to see anything else that's discussed, let us know. You guys got anything else y'all want to say in closing?
Nothing else. Just thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys talk about a different topic, let us know. Shoot us an email, DM. Everything is on YouTube. Contact us. So check us out at Counterpoints Podcast. Thanks.
Yeah, I couldn't really hear you, Malik, but what I think you said, which I'm just going to go ahead and repeat, is thank you guys for coming, tuning in with us, tapping in. Thank you for always doing that. We really, really appreciate it. I believe E told y'all, we have our show on Wednesday for What's Up Wednesday segment, right, where we stream on Instagram, and I double stream. And also, too, to make sure you check us out on Saturdays where we drop our clips. If you guys have any topics that you guys want us to talk about, if you have any questions, if you want to be on the show, go ahead and reach out to us. I think that's what they both said. So I'm just saying it again, just so to make sure you heard us. Make sure you tell a friend, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. We love y'all for y'all continued support. We've been doing this for like 2.5 years, almost 3 years now, and we just really, really appreciate it. So we love y'all, and with that, you'll see our socials at the end. And just, have a good week. We'll see y'all Wednesday. Take care and be good to one another.
Peace.